Okay, hi guys, it's me again. Um, I'm just talking because earlier I had contacted people with the government, or at least the city, to try and combat racism. And when I met them in person, they said you can't change people, which I mean, if we were brought in to be slaves, we had to physically change ourselves in order to adapt and survive to those situations. So why can't we change other people for the better to stop racism and hate? And like I have to go through it every single day where I'm constantly changing myself to be able to live with the vicious attacks and the hate crimes. People nearly run me over because they don't see me as a actual person. I'm just it would just be like roadkill essentially if I were to get hit and they just don't care. And when I contacted the company and met them in person, they told me basically you can't change anyone and to start volunteering and to go to therapy sessions, get myself more properly medicated. And I basically thought that was bullshit because again it's more oh you need to change unless well we're not going to make other people change because we know that's not going to happen. But who are they to then tell me as another person from them that I have to change? I have to be the one to do everything. And it's like I contacted them again because it's been a couple months since April, since we met in person, and they've basically sent me a list of things to do for myself and a link to um a website that will get me in a little group circle talking about racism and our experiences, which I think again is bullshit. Because it's just us going and moping and crying about what's been happening and no one's doing anything to really stop it. No one wants to do anything to stop it. And I saw Hasanabi on Twitch. He's bringing up and fighting the good fight for the Indian racism. And yet, whenever I've commented in his videos about the racism I experienced as a black woman, he will ignore it. He'll look it over and be like, "Oh, I'm not going to react to that." It always seems like he's more willing to deal with any other racism besides black racism. And when he does talk about it, it's like, "Oh, those people are being bad and they're being this and that." But then he'll focus way more time on anything else. And if you bring up racism during like when he's talking about the Gaza invasion in Israel, he'll not respond to you at all because he's talking about how fucked up it is for Israel to be doing what they're doing, which I agree it is. It's genocide. It's disgusting. But that's kind of where my point being, it's racism through and through. But I don't know, he's probably not doing it intentionally, but it feels like he's just putting the I mean, black racism has been going on for years, for centuries, right? And he's sort of like, well, I'm talking about Israel right now, so you guys, you black guys, having your lives threatened, your livelihoods threatened, basically killed for no reason, executed by people that we don't want to have to change because we just throw in the towel immediately. You guys can sit down, be quiet because I'm talking about this right now and playing my Marvel game. And it's like, well, if you can't get the big guys, the big dogs, interested in the struggle that we face, especially being Canadian, has not really stated, but he's shown that he doesn't really give a shit about Canada. He thinks it's just oh, as long as it's not happening, as long as it's happening in Canada, it's fine. Like it doesn't count. It's not real, and I think that's just wrong because it happens everywhere, not just America, not just Canada, and it's not just white, Chinese, Japanese, Asian. Indian and other people who stare at me. So occasionally it's black people too, and it's like, what am I doing that makes you guys have to stop, stare, turn around, and then take a second look at me and be like, holy fuck, is that a black person? Like, I'm at a restaurant eating my food, and a guy's walking down, he glances, he sees me, and then he turns around again and stops and stares. Like, whoa, look at that black person sitting in the window booth, eating their food, trying to enjoy themselves. It's like, really? And I've had people say that black people are overreacting to the racism and the attacks and bullying that we receive, and that it's not as bad. Coming from a white person, they're telling me they don't think black people have it harder than white people. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You don't even know where popcorn comes from. Like, you asked me where popcorn came from, and you're telling me that I don't live my life day to day in like fear and somewhat shame of being who I am, even though I know I shouldn't be. And I've had people in like grocery stores and just out and about be like, you're a slave, you're a monkey, you're a Negro. And I try to explain to them, without the skin, we're basically identical. There's like nothing that would say, oh, that person's black. You wouldn't be able to tell without the skin. And then one guy, he started touching me. He's like, I'm just going to see how you move. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening? What is happening right now? He's like moving my arms and stuff and like feeling my arms up and down and like touching and stuff. And it's like, you do realize what you're doing right now. Like, I was maybe 22. This guy was in his 40s and he's like touching me. He's like, oh, let me see if if I can consider you a human. Let me see if you are the same. Like, it's just so exhausting, and it's every single day. It's like, no one takes a break, not on your birthday. No one takes a break, not even on Christmas. It's the same thing. It's just constant racism. And it's like, it needs to stop. If we were made to be slaves for so many years, forced to live in a society that doesn't obviously have shown and says they don't want us, why are we not allowed to then say, hey, you need to stop being a racist piece of shit? Allow others to live their lives. Because if they say, oh, I only respond to a higher power of like religion and bullshit like that, the same religion that says that black people are meant to be slaves and that slaves should love their master. And it's like, well, I can't really explain logic to an idiot. And it's like, well, they have no problem believing in a book full of lies like that. Something made by like the Romans, by a crusty old white guy telling you that Jesus was white and that he died for our sins while we're still constantly committing sins. Even the love thy neighbor one, that's the biggest one that is constantly broken. Because people are like, they're not white like me, they're not my person, they're not my people, they're not my species. And it's like, we're not the same species, that's the ins and out of it. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, and they're like, oh, Adam and Eve were created equal or some bullshit, and Adam and Eve, and that's the start of humanity and stuff, and black people are just here to be a nuisance. And that's the type of person you're trying to explain, can I just exist? Like, if I have to be here to be in pain and discomfort and here to be a shadow, can I not just exist? Like, why do you have to say or do anything? Like, you could observe and then just leave me be, basically. And some people are like, no, I'm not gonna do that. If I see a black person, I'm gonna fucking call you out on it. You shouldn't be black. You shouldn't have been born black. It was your choice. You're not human. I'll never consider you or see you as a human. I have more respect for Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, and the dangerous dog breeds. I see them as mistreated. I see them as being stereotyped as being vicious. They're just, they have a bit of bad history where they're being used in fights and stuff like that, and so they've basically been branded killers and psychos. Not psychos, but like, killers and dangerous. And it's like, okay, well, you can see that for the dog, but you can't see it for another person because apparently just humans are not innocent in your eyes, even a person who's not done anything to physically harm or wrong you. And a person who's just walking down the street, you would rather save the dog than save me from like a burning building or something. You would see the building, be like, oh, there's a black person in there. I know, I saw them go in there. They're hurt. I'm out hanging out the window calling for help, but I'm not going to help them. They're not worth risking my life for. And then you hear a dog barking inside and you'll go for the dog. Or something like that. Some bullshit like that. It's just so ridiculous. They're like, oh, well, that's just hate speech towards the pit bulls. Because not all pit bulls are like that. Not all pit bulls are dangerous. And then they don't piece two and two together. Like, hey, not all black people are like that. That's just a couple handfuls of them spoiling the bunch. And then they see themselves, the angelic white person or something, or just they see themselves as the best of the best, can do no wrong, while they constantly do wrong to their neighbors, to me. I go outside, go for a walk, or to go to the store, and I'm constantly facing like just fear of being discriminated against. It's like I'm constantly I'm putting up mental barriers to try and prevent myself from allowing them access to my soul, my feelings and stuff like that. And I have to do that every single time I leave my house, even if I'm taking out the garbage, because somebody's going to do something. And I'm in Canada, right? And you think because we're in Canada, it should be much better, and then it's not. It's pretty much the same as in the States. We get racism, we get bullied, we get death threats, we get physically assaulted. And then we get told we should go back to our country. And it's like, this is my country. I've been here 29 years. Might as well have been born here. I'm 31 now. Came here when I was 2.5. Been a nightmare ever since. Being the only black kid growing up in the neighborhood, in school, high school, daycare. Basically still the only black person in the neighborhood that I know of. I have not seen another. I saw tourists, black tourists, but yeah. And when we do encounter each other, it's like, oh my god, there you are, where have you been? And I just don't care, because I don't want people to stop and talk to me. I just don't want that to happen. Mainly because of my mental barriers I put up, because I just know that people are not going to be kind. So I just don't give them an inch, which is a flaw on me, because then I'm shutting everyone out. But it has to be that way in order to keep myself from going over the edge and just like never coming back out or killing myself. And it's like, people don't take into consideration the struggle you go through just existing with autism, mental illness, like depression, anxiety, split personality disorder. The stuff I go through, the mental gymnastics just to get myself out of bed. And people are adding on the issue of, well, you're a monkey, deal with it. You should kill yourself anyway because you're just considered a trash person, not even human. And yeah, it's basically that every single day. And I got on the bus in October. Our bus driver was Indian, and I got on the bus and he looked at me. And then he looked back at the wheel, he took out his phone, started calling someone. Then he started staring at me, and I was just sort of sitting there waiting for him to start the bus. I'm like, why is he looking at me like that? It was raining. I had my hood on. Didn't take it off when I was on the bus, but I shouldn't have to. If I forget, or for whatever reason, or if I'm cold, I just want my hood on. It's my right to be clothed. And then he got off the bus and he started calling people or someone. I don't know who he was calling. He was on his phone, but he's just got off the bus, and a couple minutes later there was another bus coming behind us. Another type of bus that I could use that goes to the same location. I just got on that one. And then as we were pulling away, on the second bus, he got into the first bus, and he started to drive away. It was basically me he had a problem with. Everyone else was fine, but then that strange black person walks on, and you know shit's about to go down. He's about to get stabbed, like for real. And it's like, really, dude, really? You know, you don't. They don't even stop to think how absurd that is. Like, what's stopping this dude stabbing you or holding up the bus? Like, it's gotta be always. People are always labeling a boogeyman, even if it makes no sense. Like, you can't say all black people are going to do this, because that's just not true. It's just bullshit. And they want to label someone as a monster, even if they're the ones who are doing the monstrous acts and harming other people. And it's like, well, you have no problem doing that, but I'm supposed to stop existing because it makes you uncomfortable. Like, what you're doing is making me actively uncomfortable, but you have no problem doing it, but I'm supposed to stop existing and being me. Yeah. Been a long 31 years of this nonsense. Got accused as a toddler for stalking, because of course. I wanted a book this other kid had, and I kept asking him over and over and over again if I could have the book, since he had it previously the week before. And just in general, I don't even know how old I am. I must have been like 5 or something. And they're like, well, she's being a stalker, she's being creepy. We gotta pin something, like some kind of thing that she's doing wrong. And then I'd go on the playground, climb up the playground on the monkey bars, and a white kid would kick me in the face and push me off the swings and just push me off everything and spit on me. You would tell the teachers, and they're like, well, that's just like, if you probably did something to instigate it. Yeah, it's just exhausting. Life is already exhausting without the added bullshit and walking on eggshells, knowing that everything you do is drawing attention, negative attention towards you. Yeah, it's just bullshit. I just wanted to stop, and I sent an email to the company I met in April. I said, it seems that nobody wants to actually deal with the issue of racism. You guys all just want to sweep it on the rug. Unlike the other company I talked to as well. They told me to do something about my autism. Start going to autistic groups, stuff like that. They tell you to get help. You're getting death threats and hate speech and violence on your life. And they're telling you you need therapy. It's humanity is a joke. There is no real humanity. I know I can't say that because there are a lot of good people, but people I encounter, there's no humanity. I don't even go out that much because of just how awful it is and how tough it is and how much mental stability I need to have on a daily basis to recover. And if I go out, I shouldn't have to be braced for an attack. That's so exhausting. To wake up, be like, oh, I need to go get milk. So I have to brace myself mentally and physically. Because I might be assaulted today, or I'm going to be, like, have hate speech on me, as always. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm done. Bunch of bullshit. Literally no one cares. It's not happening to them, so they just don't care. In Canada, like, as good as you say, as the white man on the radio says it is, and how fantastic it is, have not lived a life as someone who experiences this sort of atrocities. Sorry, I'm not good at this. I talk a lot, but I don't know what I'm saying. Atrocities. Like living in their bubble, in their sheltered world. And that's another thing, because I am autistic and have my other mental illnesses going on, it makes it that much harder to shake off. Like water, it's just, I get drenched, and it's that much harder to look at it and say, oh, that person's just an idiot. I don't know why they did that. I see the world in a lot of different angles, a lot of beautiful, pretty angles that no one else really sees. I see it like curious and stuff. I want to explore it. And then I have someone who's glaring at me and telling me to fuck off back to my country. At the same moment, I'm looking at an airplane or a tree with its leaves just rustling in the wind. And I'm thinking, well, that's beautiful. That's nice. I like that. And I feel I should be able to go out and just explore and enjoy myself and not have to worry that I'm going to be attacked for being myself. No one should have to live like this. It's ridiculous. I know no one's going to watch this video. I know no one really cares. It's just me moaning, me crying on the internet. But if you do see this video, I don't know if you could like pass it along and share it. Get my story known. Or at least, not my story, but the story, the situation, what's happening. Just spread it around. Know that you're not alone, that you are loved. Even in the darkest times when it feels like there's no one there for you, there's still always someone, at least someone. I gotta keep reminding myself that, because it always feels like life's not going anywhere and there's no one. And that each day is, they say it's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be a new, fresh day, but it's not. It's the same bullshit. We fight, we carry on, because the other option is giving up, and we don't want to give them satisfaction. We exist for spite, to spite, basically. So you want me to fuck off? Well, I'm going to stay right here, man. Okay, well, anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts of the situation that's happening. Hopefully tomorrow will be a bit better, but it probably won't. It'll probably be the same. More anxiety, more depression. Anyway, take care of yourselves, my friends. I'll talk to you next time. And if I don't post anytime soon, like tomorrow or in a few days, Happy New Year. Hope it's a better one, and we can all move and strive to make humanity an actual beautiful thing where we can all coexist and just exist. Alright, take care. Goodbye.